The purpose of this video is to outline the new registration acceptance procedure and how we build rosters for the Carl Spackler Open moving forward. We just finished our 2022 event in Illinois. It was a super successful trip at Metamora Fields. We accepted more than 92 golfers that requested Metamora Fields to help get a shotgun on certain rounds. But we really do not want more than 92 golfers. So with that said, the Captain's Club met and we started all over and we asked the basic question: what is it that we want? And the Captain's Club unanimously agreed that we should continue to have a handicap golf tournament with a large friendship component to it. And I think that's important because as we move forward after 20 years, that we understand that if we're going to have a handicap golf tournament, that means we have to have golf. That means that we're going to have handicaps. We're going to have golf rules, and we can't have handicaps without scorecards being entered. And then the friendship component is really, really important. So the Captain's Club is not going to be making decisions without considering that. So for the past 20 years, we've been accepting registrations on a first-come, first-served basis with people that have 3 days vacation and money. And so we're throwing that out and we're starting over. The Captain's Club has agreed that future rosters should be built intentionally and based on your contributions to improve the Carl Spackler Open. So let's discuss what considerations the Captain's Club has decided on to build future rosters. We're going to build each roster based on contribution from you. We're going to build a transparent process. We're going to build a process that puts eligibility in your hands. We're going to build a process that works for 40 people, 72 people, or 92 people. We're going to build a process that's simple for you, simple for Dosky, simple for the Captain's Club. We're going to prioritize some rookie spots. Your son, maybe a Captain's Club's member's friend, maybe one of your family members, they want to come to the Carl Spackler Open in the future. So if we don't prioritize rookie spots, at least a minimum number, we're going to get stale with our roster and we're not going to meet new people. We're going to build a process that elevates future contribution. We're going to empower the Captain's Club to exempt special circumstances. What do those look like? Medical, military, and whatever we decide we have to do. Prioritize eligibility for previous 5 tournament winners. That's who won the Golden Jacket the last 5 times. Prioritize eligibility for the Tara Boland and Rookie of the Year award winners. What we're not going to consider is prioritizing the eligibility for the tournament leaderboard, maybe the top 10 as an example. We're not going to prioritize repeating attendance over recent contribution. So if you've been attending for 10 years and don't contribute, that's not as important as somebody that's been there for 3 years and contributes. We're not going to prioritize eligibility for most award winners. That would be like closest to the pin, most long putts, that kind of thing. We're not going to prioritize golfers based on handicap or ability. So a D player is just as important as an A player. What we are going to consider is defining the understanding of our basic golf rules as contributing to the event. There are 6. We're going to define simple responses to participant options as a contribution. We're going to define having accurate distances or yardages for your 3 golf clubs in your profile as a contribution. This includes your driver, your 5-iron, and your 7-iron. We're going to define posting scorecards as a contribution. We're going to define mobile scoring as a contribution. We're going to define volunteering of your time as a contribution. We're going to define being a highly desired playing partner or roommate as a contribution. What does that mean? That means that we collect preferences every single year and we know who our favorites are. We're going to define a large number of roommate preferences as a contribution. What does that mean? That means each year we ask everybody who their roommate preferences are. They are preferences, but the more preferences we get, the easier it is for the group to be able to come up with a rooming list. So the more preferences that you provide us, the more you're contributing. That doesn't mean you have to, it's just what it is. We're going to prioritize consistent event attendance. It is important that people attend and they regularly attend. That builds camaraderie with the group, and so we're going to prioritize that. Prioritize Carl Spackler open scorecards higher than other scorecards. Metamora Fields scorecards, Pinion Hill scorecards, Angels Crossing scorecards are more important than the local cards that you're entering. They're not equal. Why? Because the event cards are played on Spackler golf courses and you're being watched to a reasonable level. The numbers that are entered for scorecards are pretty accurate. And we're going to prioritize repeating participants who post a minimum number of scorecards. What does that mean? I'm not going to get into too much detail right this second, but essentially, if you're a regular attendee and you have 12 scorecards at Carl Spackler Opens over the last 3 years, we're going to double that as your contribution if you give us a minimum number of scorecards locally. So with that said, anyone who has been to our last 3 Carl Spackler Opens will be added to a roster worksheet. And that roster worksheet will be broken down into 3 phases, and those phases represent 3 months on the calendar. So those 3 months plus period of time prior to those 3 months is our registration period. And so how you end up in each phase and where you end up inside each phase is dependent upon a variety of things, such as what are you doing to contribute to improving the event. So every single person who has ever attended a Carl Spackler Open will be getting an attendance grade and a contribution grade. And the attendance grade, it can change, but currently it is your rookie year plus the number of years you've attended a Carl Spackler Open minus the number of years you've missed. So if you've been to 6 tournaments and then missed 3, your grade would be a 3. Our contribution grade will be made up and include things like, are you providing lots of roommates for flexibility? Are you a mobile scorer? How many scorecards have you entered? How many event cards do you have? Do you know our basic golf rules? So as I indicated, the registration period will be broken up into 3 phases, and each phase has a designated month. The roster worksheet will be broken down into those phases. At the beginning of each phase or each month, we're going to add people who have registered for the Carl Spackler Open that are on the worksheet in phase 1. We have set aside the first 3 days of the month to add registrants whether they have paid or not. These people are now published on the Carl Spackler Open participants webpage in a pending status. We are going to give those people until the 21st of the month to pay their deposit. They can pay their deposit before they register. They can pay their deposit upon registration, but we are going to give accepted registrants until the 21st of the month to pay their deposit. We are going to process payments throughout that month. The 4th week of the month is inactive. This period of time is provided to the U.S. Postal Service to deliver personal checks and an extra week of time for the Captain's Club. This inactive period is not an additional week for pending registrations to pay a deposit. The last couple days of the month are set aside to unregister unpaid participants in a pending status. So that is a general overview of how we're going to build rosters moving forward. Now I'm going to spend a few minutes for the people that are actually interested in the transparent process of how we build a roster using examples. So here's the roster worksheet broken out with 49 golfers. Only past participants from our past 3 events are listed. We're going to designate registered golfers with a green check and paid deposits with a green $sign. In this example, there's only tee time availability for 32 golfers. So we have 32 total spots. Registration opens in late November. And as you can see, various golfers register. Half the guys go simple and just pay the deposit before the end of December. Phase 1 starts on January 1st. Registered golfers in Phase 1 are added to the website as participants with a pending status. Jim, Mark, Bill, John, George, and Tim are already paid and automatically become official participants. You can see them with green check marks. Rob, John, Mike, and Ron remain as pending participants. They have a red check mark and have until the 21st of January to pay their deposit. Look over at Phase 3. Number 38, Ben. He's already registered and paid his deposit early. His money was added to his last event played. He could see his $150 credit there, but also inside the 2023 Carl Spackler Open participant balances page at the bottom. Registered golfers with a credit can now see their credit without being a participant. Ben has decided on the simplest process, but he awaits his spot. His money is 100% refundable if he doesn't get accepted. Eric registers for the Carl Spackler Open. He pays his deposit immediately. Eric was not listed on the roster worksheet because he hasn't been to Spackler in over 4 years. He's added number 23 to the worksheet where he belongs in Phase 2. A bunch of golfers slide down the worksheet behind him. Rob, John, and Ron pay their deposits prior to January 21st. Now it's January 31, the last day of the month and the last day of Phase 1. Number 6, Mike, is in Phase 1. He registered back in December but never paid his deposit. He has been now unregistered. Look at Phase 2. Paul, Andy, and Jason recently registered. Look at number 28, Ken. He has not registered, but he's paid his full event fee. Dosky sends Ken an email asking him to follow directions. We open up February 1st, Phase 2. Number 28, Ken, still hasn't registered. He's being skipped over and not added as a participant in Phase 2. He did not register. It's February 10th. Steve, Paul, and Ed pay their deposits in Phase 2. Number 45, Jerry, in Phase 3 pays his deposit. It's now halfway through February 15th. Number 38, Sam, in Phase 3 registers last minute and pays his deposit. It's February 18th. Number 6, Mike, registers again from Phase 1 and pays his deposit. He apologizes for being late. Our process guides us to complete Phase 2 and handle Mike in Phase 3. Number 43, Ray, in Phase 3 pays his deposit. Mike is added to the top of Phase 3 because he notified us prior to February 28th. Otherwise, he misses Phase 3. Meanwhile, Jason, number 30, pays his deposit. Aiden, who hasn't participated in 7 years, registers and pays his full balance on February 19th. Aiden is added to the roster worksheet at number 51. It's February 28th, last day of the month, last day for Phase 2, and number 25, Andy, in Phase 2 is now unregistered. There are 18 paid golfers through Phase 2. It's now March 1, first day of Phase 3. Most everyone has registered and paid early. Alex, Pat, and Adam did not register. The roster is temporarily full starting March 1 with 3 unpaid unofficial participants: Justin, Aaron, and Doug. It's March 1. Number 28, Ken, calls to ask why he isn't a participant. He is paid in full as indicated, but he never registered. Ken is pissed. He lost his spot in Phase 2 and 3. His only chance to be included is to wait for Phase 3 to be over and to be added on April 1. Number 28, Ken, is added to the worksheet as number 52 in Phase 3. The last day of the month comes March 31st. It's the last day for Phase 3, and Justin, Aaron, and Doug did not pay their deposits. All three are unregistered. There are 3 spots remaining. It's April 1st. Only paid registrants can be added after March. Ken is registered and fully paid. He gets spot number 30. It's now April 5th. There are 2 open spots. Only paid registrants can be added after March. There are open spots for anyone who registers, including rookies, as long as they have 4 scorecards before June. This looks complex, looks like a lot going on, but as a Captain's Club member, our role is the first day of the month and the last day of the month. Have you done what you're supposed to do? We will do what we're supposed to do in a few minutes, at the beginning of each month and at the end of each month. To the golfers who desire the most simplicity, you're going to register as soon as possible, and you're going to pay your deposit during that registration. Consider paying the full event fee. This eliminates forgetting to register and forgetting to pay your deposit. When you get accepted, we will let you know. And if you're not accepted, we're going to let you know. Your deposit and your money is 100% refundable if we do not accept you on the roster. It is your responsibility to make sure that your money was actually received and posted. We post money to your last event played or our current event. You will see your money at the bottom of the participant balances page as a credit if you're not already accepted into the roster. This concludes our explanation of how we build rosters for the Carl Spackler Open. This video is not intended to cover every aspect of the process. It is all available on the website in writing 24/7. So get your money in, get registered, and I'll see you at the next Carl Spackler Open.